massive, massive. Yo, massive, massive.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the West Ham Review. Hope you've had a good day. It's been a nice, fresh blue skies mostly all the day, and here we are again. And as always, my lovely co-host, Budgie. How are we,
Lovely. I should start wearing sexy clothing and that.
It's been a long day for me, mate. You know, maybe the beers are talking already. I don't know.
Bless you, mate. I love the intro. Thank you. And good evening to everybody in the chat. Everybody watching, either live or subsequently later on whatever you call it, catch up, I suppose you would call it. Don't forget to get your comments in the comment section. And if you're in the live chat, get your points into the live chat. And I know we've got a few already. Sorry, Tone. Carry on, mate.
That's fine, mate. It's a good start, isn't it? It's a good start. As always, let's see, as you mentioned, the good old people in the chat. So we're starting off with usual. And he's saying here, Fergus on his way to the London Stadium in an ambulance using his wheelchair. We're going to come on to some transfer business, or lack of it, shall I say. There's Michael. Good evening, Michael, as well. Don't want him, still injured. And also, big up to Tony and Budgie in the chat. Thank you much, mate. And obviously, say goodbye to them. Watch the behind-scenes training. Bowen and Cree looking good. Nice,
yes,
isn't it?
I agree.
Nice. That's what we want to see.
Cree and Kudos were playing keepy uppy together from about 10 yards away.
Brilliant.
It was quite good.
No, that's nice. I want to see, looking good.
Yeah.
Good evening, Fresh or Sean. Evening all. 8:02. Yeah, early for you for a change. But I've hit the echelons because apparently I'm now on Stel's time. Apologies for that. Apologies. Just getting one thing sorted out and it's all done and
It'd
dusted.
have to be 16, 17 minutes past to get on his time, mate.
That's true. Say like that. Michael's also saying, where is it? We're going there. We've just signed that 17-year-old from Hibs.
Have we? Oh, okay.
We'll have to look out for that because I've just been looking at the list of the rumoured ins. That is amazing. Usual as always. Good evening, Matty, as well. Good to see you. Croc Strikers United, not West Ham United. Yeah, that's the, as we say, the West Ham way. And of course, the evening's not complete if we haven't got our lovely Mama Flossie in with us. Evening, Tottenham Budgie.
Sunshine every day.
And she's also saying evening to the chat. And Mama. Pepe knee injury announced this afternoon.
Fucking typical. As soon as we look at someone, that's it. Let's go and get ourselves injured. We can't get into West Ham without an injury.
Seems to be the way as always. Saying usual. Michael saying the crease skill end of keeping up. He's even had Kudos smiling.
Yeah,
nice. It's good to see it as well. That's something we've been waiting for.
And you know, I also noticed that when Emerson came into the gym at Rush Green, he went to all the youth players that were there, or the academy players, under 23s, whatever you want to call them. He went over to them and shook all their hands while they were on the cycling or, you know, leg pulling machine or whatever. The only one he didn't do that to, funnily enough, was young Ollie Scholes. Now, I think that's probably because he's been seeing a lot of him, and it's not so important to Ollie for the senior players to make themselves known or whatever, you know, because you probably know better than I do. You're a coach. What kind of confidence it gives when a first teamer comes up to the young boys and goes, "How you doing, mate? How's things going?" Or, you know, "Hello, nice to see you again," or whatever. Any of that is always a boost to a young player.
100%,
and I think Ollie was just sitting there. He knew he weren't going to get a handshake. He didn't even, but he was just sitting there like that. Cycling or whatever, you know.
But you know, there's going to be some people where they're budgie saying, "Yeah, he's not giving him a big up because he's taking his place. He's taking me place." You know.
Yeah, he's blanked him, blah blah. No, he ain't done none of that, mate.
Nothing like that. Good evening, JB. Hope you're well. Evening to the champs. He's saying. Matt's obviously again into the chat. Yeah, we've just have to have an interest in the fucker who's injured.
Yeah,
it's our way.
Exactly that.
Michael saying Sullivan wanted a Pepsi, and they thought he said Pepsi, so put in a bid. That's usual, isn't it? Striker's curse or just player curse?
I think it's a bit of both, mate. You know, I think, you know, we've had our fair share of injuries in decent players that have come in. And, you know, I mean, look, we know that Nicholas Fulkrug is not a donkey, right? No. But since he's been here, he's had injury and he's had this and that, and he hasn't really produced the goods. Skamaka was the same. He had an injury not long after walking through the door. You know?
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy, you know? And then we had, like, crook old Michael Antonio for 4 years or whatever it was. And then all of a sudden you can keep him off the pitch. Changed his diet and everything, and he was good as gold after that. So
yeah, no, it's weird how it works.
It can work either way, mate.
Good evening, Colin, as well. Good evening, Tony and Budgie. You wonderful gentlemen. I love watching the training video. Enjoyed it with smiles on their faces. Nice to see. And like under Loppy,
yeah.
I think this is something we said before, isn't it? I mean, we want to. I think Potter's done well in getting these players back on board because we know was the crux of it. We lost a lot of that. So connecting the dots.
And, you know, in his pre-match conference today, he said, you know, again, he reiterated that he won't talk about players that are not West Ham players. I think he kind of hinted towards the fact that he'd identified a couple of players he wants to have a look at. But he never actually said those words, you know. It was like, it was carefully put.
Tactful. Tactful, yeah.
But yeah, again, you know, he was talking about working with the players he's got, making sure that every one of them are happy with the role they're playing, etc., etc. You know, giving us, the fans, what we want, giving us the opportunity to fall back in love with our club again. Not in those words, but that was the sentiment of it. I could tell, you know. And you know, you could see he was like, yes, I am looking forward to going back to Chelsea. You know, I've been back there already a couple of times since I worked there. He said, but I'm looking forward to going back to Chelsea. I've got a few good friends there and a few other people I'd like to say hello to, etc. He said, but I'm here now. He said, and my journey through Chelsea has brought me here, and this is where I want to be. And I thought, do you know what? Get in, Potter. You know, it was almost like scoring the winning goal in the Champions League final to me. You know, I want to be here. I've got to where I want to be. You know, and I thought, well, you know, how wrong was I? Right at the beginning.
Yeah, remember we had this conversation, didn't we?
Yeah. And, you know, and like I said, I'm never ashamed to admit that I was wrong, mate. He's proving me more and more wrong every day, and I love it. You know, I couldn't be happier.
Yeah. I think that was for me, you know, is just getting the identity back, because we know Lopetegui destroyed that overnight, and it was getting that back in. I think that was as a manager, that must have been the hardest bit first of all, but we're seeing it. I mean, look, we're going to talk about the recent game against Villa and how that went. I mean, for me, I did a watch along for it, but it was definitely a game of two halves.
It certainly was. It certainly was. And to be fair, we dominated about 11 minutes of the first half.
Yeah.
We dominated 42 minutes of the second half. Kind of. You know, I'm not sure that that's the exact number, but that's what it felt like. You know, it felt like we weren't dominant at all in the first half. We had one or two patches of reasonable football.
Yeah.
But in the second half, I felt like our foot was on the pedal all the way. You know, from the moment the whistle blew, you could see there was a bit of intent in the players, you know. And we've been lacking that for a couple of years nearly. You know, it's really only been the new players that have come in that have shown that level of intent. You know, the players that were already here weren't really kind of at the top of their game. On Sunday this week, I think that most of them were at least at 90% of their game.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, because what I liked about it, you know, you said about the goal score shots, and Villa, I think at the time they were showing you, I think they had about 3 shots, 1 on target, whereas we had 0 target shots in the first half.
Yeah.
But it was good to see it come in the second half, considering we was using a player in a makeshift role. We had more shots on target than what they did. And we was unlucky not to get the win as well out of that.
Yeah.
And it was good that the changes that Potter made, they came at the right time. I think, like, you know, even when Emerson kind of taken off, they all acknowledged that it was the right call. But it was good to see, and like people were saying, yeah, but Villa played during the week, and they're still athletes. They've still got to do the job.
Yeah.
Why not take advantage of that? And I think we did in the second half, and that was great to see it.
We did. And, you know, it's my belief that Potter would have, like at half time, he would have gone in there and gone, look, lads, you're kind of holding your own, but it ain't good enough. You know? And if I don't see more effort out of you, like, I am going to start digging into the under 23s. You know, I'd like to think that that's the kind of conversation he's had. Do you know what I mean? And let some of these established players go, what? Replace me with a kid?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck, I better step up here. Do you know what I mean? Whereas I think for the whole game, Paqueta had a good game. I thought he was busy the whole game. Aaron Wan-Bissaka goes without saying he's my favourite player at the club right now. I'm really impressed with him, you know. I just think, as you said, game of two halves, and we were very unfortunate not to get the win, you know.
Yeah, I agree on that. There's a couple of questions going to come to in that.
Yeah, go on then. Go back to them, mate.
Just going to say, evening to James from James. He's saying even Tony Budgie in the chat. And also we've got in there Aces as well, saying hello to us. Good evening, Aces.
Good evening, you.
Got 2 questions from Michael, please, and it's just going to slightly off from the game. We'll go back to the game in a minute, but these are 2 quite relevant. Do we get Todibo to stay, or does he go Juve? Because obviously they've come back in for him. And by all accounts, we don't want to, send him out. We want to keep hold of him on the loan, but do we actually sign him? Or...
The fact is that we've got him on loan with an obligation to buy now. right? I believe that's the case, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's the way it works.
Right. So now we've got an obligation to buy it. Juve have put a bid in. Who's his parent club?
Oh, what's the bloody French?
Oh, Lille, is it?
Lille.
No.
I think it's Lille. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
it's
it
Lille.
might be Lille, yeah. That might just be a ploy between the Lille board and the Juve board. Stick an offer in for him because we really need West Ham to make a decision. Stick an offer in for him and see what we can do.
Yeah.
I'm being a little bit sort of, underhanded there saying that because I might be doing them an injustice. But, I mean, it sort of smacks of that a little bit because we are now obligated to buy him in the summer. And I think he shouldn't be a subject for discussion until the summer because we've got him on loan until then. So nobody can go buying him out from underneath us. And we're obligated to buy him.
Yeah.
So we're in the prime position that we've now got 5 months or so of this player that we're obligated to buy unless we agree to the purchase of that player from another club. I would imagine that's in there. That's probably a legality somewhere.
Yeah, because I'm just seeing some of the comments here. Where is it now? Yeah, obviously Todibo's practically signed. The only stipulation is not getting relegated, which is unlikely. And Michael Blees has also said on there, West Ham are the parent club now. He has made all aspects of obligation, so we owe Lille 35 million euros.
Right, there you go. Right, so the only way now that he could go to Juve is if we say to Juve, right, cough up 35 million and we'll give you him on a free transfer.
Yeah.
Or cough up 35 million and we'll just sign the paperwork and send him straight over to you.
Job done,
that's the only way now, really. Either that or if there is a clause that says, and if another club comes in for that player and the offer is acceptable by the parent club, which looks like it's us now, according to Michael.
Yeah. And I think we're not willing to let him go out, so that's great news, really, because
I believe that is good news as well, Tom, because I really like Todibo. A lot of people have said there's an attitude problem with him. I ain't fucking seen it. I ain't seen it.
Yeah, no, I think we can all agree.
Would you have not thought that Repka was a cult hero just because he had a bit of a bad attitude?
100%. I totally agree.
Repka's a prime example. I mean, he was a great player and this and that. On the pitch, he had some attitude. I'm not so sure about off the pitch. I think he was quite a nice guy. And I'm sure Todibo is, But there's a bit of attitude there once they lace up them boots. And I've got to be honest, I'm a player like that. Well, I was back in my day. I was a player like that. Once my boots were laced up, I was a vicious little bastard.
That's good. I like that. They're the type of players I like. But the way I'm thinking, and Michael's already kind of beat me to it, you can guarantee that this is the truth, which is the problem was I was saying with many of our players, Loppy. Players just didn't buy into it.
Yeah.
And that's I think where the attitude comes. And of course, the media, as you know, the media do, they get that knife in, they twist it, they just kind of add some words in, and then everyone buys into it. And unfortunately, a lot of people did buy it because, not being funny, he didn't see any kind of black eyes on Loppy. He didn't see no injuries on Todibo. So, really,
and to be fair, like guys like ourselves, we don't do anything to clear the water any more, do we? I mean, we report on what we're told, on what we see and read and hear, and that clouds the water just a tad more.
Mm-hmm.
And so, therefore, the actual truth doesn't come out unless it comes out of one of their mouths, and I'm not sure it ever will.
No,
because
I don't think so.
I think it was hyped up more than it should have been. You know?
It was an easy one to do, though, wasn't it? I mean, with Lopetegui doing things, you could have just said anything, and everyone would just believed it. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Michael Blease has got a second question for us, and he says, "Does a Gerd return?"
I don't think he does. I want him to. I actually like him. Oh, Nath.
Knife. Well, mate, knife.
Nathan Gerd. That's what David Moyes called him, wasn't it? Nathan Gerd or Nathan Hager. I like him. I think he's got a fantastic character. He kind of reminds me a little bit of, some of the other players we've had from overseas, that have really sort of bought into the club and have endeared themselves to the fans. And I don't think Nath Gerd ever did anything that didn't endear him to the fans,
Yeah.
I think the only thing that ever really sort of pissed the fans off was that he got injured in a pre-season friendly and we didn't see him for 3 months. I think that's
true.
the only thing that really pissed any of us off about him. Other than that, bring him back, please.
A few people are saying, obviously, Matt's put him with, no, Michael, he's not suited to the Premier League football. He's worse than Mavropanos. And Michael's added on, but Potter likes three at the back, though, which does make sense with the formation.
Yeah, and Nath Gerd would be perfect in the back three. With Todibo in the middle and Kilman on the right or the other way round.
Yeah.
He would be perfect on the left of the three. And you got your Wan-Bissaka on the right and your Emerson or Ollie on the left. Mate, you couldn't get any better.
True. The good ain't returning in this transfer window. He'll be sold in the summer for a profit, Matt's saying as well.
It's not Ollie Scholes that I was thinking of that plays left back, is it? He plays up front, doesn't he, Scholes? Or he's who's the left back?
Yeah,
who was
Scholes.
It that came on at the weekend? Was it Scholes?
Yeah, Scholes.
It was, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Scholes, yeah.
Yeah, it was. Mate, I'm confusing myself. I've got to stop smoking that shit.
You heard it here, folks.
I mean, the thing is, I think with Nath Gerd, if he came back, we'd have a much stronger and a much more structured defence. I think he's well beyond his years in mindset. What is he, 24 now, 25?
Something like that, I think, yeah.
I mean, he thinks like a 35-year-old man. He's
got the maturity about him.
Yeah, but he's got a little bit of impetuousness about him too, where he will go in for a tackle at the last dying minute in the box, and see if he can get away with it, kind of thing. There is that about him, but we always said we like a player that will put himself on the line, and even to the detriment of a penalty.
Yeah, we love a try, mate. We do love a try.
We do.
Colin saying, gents, Potter would have never been my first choice, just like you, Bud. And I hold my hands up, I was wrong to discount him. I was hoping Sullivan was going to back Potter with 2 to 3 signings for I feel we could still chance Europe, which would be a bad shout. But we'll come on to the transfer stuff shortly.
Yeah, and yet we still got a few days left, mate.
Yeah. Potter gets Todibo playing. That's one thing he does. Fresh is saying the same. Todibo in. A good bumping up his value week on week. If we can make money out of it, fair enough. As long as we bring the same good for it.
Yeah. What's he owe us? About 32, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd say that.
Somewhere around there, I think.
Yeah, Lopetegui versus Todibo is the issue, as usual, Sid. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I still say to this day, the kudos situation was all down to Lopetegui.
Yeah, I agree. And, you could see the frustrations coming out in all of the players.
Vlad's got Thomas wrapped her eyes. Kim Kahas, Mama's on the ball. Look at that. Okay, guys, who hasn't hit the like? Yep, question mark. Come on. Get your
Good question.
Take it, it doesn't take that much to do it.
We'll have to send Mum around with her dogs to bite your ankles if you don't do
it. Players just don't fight with managers for no reason. I totally agree on that, James. Loppy's attitude probably pissed him off. That's the fight. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Rangers already 1-0 up as well. Brendan, good evening to yourself. Evening, Tony and Budgie and usual. Mama Flossie, Matt F, Fresh, Colin, JB, Michael B, Aces, James, and my neighbour's cat as well. Bless up to the neighbour cat. Good evening, they're saying as well. Good evening, Ian. Good is made for a Potter team. Totally unsuited to Moyes, more industrial style. That's a polite term. Yes, we can read between the lines on that, Ian. Thank you, matey.
Yes.
Big up to Brian, CFC, for the super chat as well. Early Doors Football TV. Big up and always 100%.
Nice
Big
one,
up to
mate.
yourself
That'll
as well,
go
Brian.
towards the next jar of coffee in the office.
Colin, gents, I hear that we may be without Paqueta against Chelsea. Because obviously it looks like he picked up a groin strain on the Villa game.
Who goes up front if he's not there? He's not going to risk putting somebody like Guilherme up, so there's no point even suggesting that.
Cool.
Do you think he goes with Danny Ings for the first 60 minutes?
More than likely, well, if he's in certain respects, he's got no choice in saying it. Yeah, look, he's just got put in there. Tired of being asking about potential incomings. Yeah, it's easy. There's so many agents. You can imagine pushing players left, right, and centre. Yeah, absolutely. But the right one for the right price, that fits how you want it to play. We'll come on to that in a minute because one thing is great minute at the moment. But yeah, unfortunately, who do we go for? Who do we put up top? Ings is probably going to be your main shout because he's the only one we've got.
Yep.
Who else is there other than that? I mean, obviously, we know we've talked about some of the academy players.
See, we haven't even got the likes of Divin Mabama anymore or anything like that. You know, a young lad that's hungry and big and, you know, loves to get involved. We ain't even got him anymore, you know.
No.
And so, yeah, and to be fair, you know, the options that we've got in the under-23s just aren't Premiership ready.
No.
I have to say, I really don't believe they are. You know, the only other option he's got is playing somebody else out of position. And that's a real tough call for him, you know. And if he does, who does he play out of position? It's not like he's got Ben Rama or, you know, Lanzini or any of them even, you know, that could just
step
forward and do it.
We definitely strangled ourselves on that one. You never know, mate. We might be surprised. We might see a Somerville in there. That kind of changes the dynamics, or even a Bowen. But yeah, I think you're right what you're saying. Don't know what this kid's done to pee people off, but Guilherme and this will be an opportunity to see what you can actually do. I know it's a big game, don't get me wrong.
And Chelsea are the perfect team to play him against because he's quick enough to counteract their speed. You know, that's the time when you do play players like Guilherme. You do play players like Somerville. Even to some point, you know, Solaire's got a little turn of pace, not for very long, but short bursts he can do. You know, and you've got to have Aaron Wan-Bissaka on the pitch because otherwise you've got nothing down that right side other than Bowen. And if you're playing him up front because he's injured and don't need him running so much, you know, it's a real dilemma. You know, it is a dilemma.
True.
I mean, for us as fans, it's obvious. You know, you go for Ings or you go for Guilherme.
There'll be another choice I'm going to come up with in a minute anyway. But this one here, Michael Blees is saying, Potter at Chelsea was a failure. Emery at Chelsea was a failure. Emery at Villa, success. So hopefully Potter at West Ham will be a success. And I think it will be. I think there's every opportunity. And we'll see more and more improvements.
Emery go to Chelsea then?
I think he means Emerson. I think probably Emerson he means. I'm assuming that's what it is anyway, yeah. Yeah, look, don't you sit with your dogs on me, Mama. As if I would. And the thing is, though, mate, you can't see, but she's smiling when she says that, as if she'll do that to you.
Yeah, and it's not just a real sweet little smile. It's one of those. We know you, Mama. Owen up front, says Sean. Yeah.
Good. Same with Michael. Same thing as well. Up top, I believe. Be nice if it would be the case.
Yeah.
Yeah, the usual, the sounds of the hounds of love, not the sounds, the hounds of love. Matt's saying the same thing. Yeah, play Bowen up front if he's fit in place of Paqueta. Not a bad shout.
Yeah. But then you see, if Bowen is fit, he's going to want to play his normal position out on the right. Then, in that case, that's when you would put Kudus up front.
Yeah, because I'm going to come on to that because there's a comment I've saved for the moment. Sean saying, thought Pot was very cryptic in the presser, saying in so many words, the Borden owners had his back, but he wasn't going to accept any old shit Sully special. What a breath of fresh air.
The thing is, he said, look, going out and getting players is easy. Going out and getting the right players that are going to fit my philosophy in the game, the players that I've got, the staff that are at the club, the the ownership, the fans, he's got to fit into all of that. I've got to have a green tick in all of those categories before I'll go and put an offer in for him, kind of thing. I'm paraphrasing, but that's kind of the thing that he was saying, and he actually, he actually, yes, he was cryptic, Sean, but he was cryptic in a very forthright manner. It was like, don't be asking me. Like, you asked me last week if I was looking at this player and that player, and I gave you an answer. What do you think my answer is going to be this week? And then another one shouted out, he's not a West Ham player. He went, exactly. He's not a West Ham player. I'm not about to talk about him. What do you want me to say? What do you want to know from me?
See, and that's it. At least the media realising it's not worth pushing it because he ain't going to give him an answer.
Yeah. And to be fair, David Moyes was very good at that as well. And we kind of like that about him because all of a sudden we were linked with certain players that we thought, surely would go to somewhere like, Liverpool or Manchester City or Manchester United or whatever. And we were pulling players in that we thought would go there. Do you know what I mean? So them sort of players, like Kudus, for example.
Yeah.
Emerson. I was really surprised that we got Emerson. Never even knew we were in for him.
No, they come out of the blue, that one.
Paqueta arrived, and then 3 days later, we're hearing that Emerson's arrived. And I'm like, yeah, I like that. And he's been great ever since he arrived. He's still up there for me.
Definitely agree on that. Obviously, we were saying about up top and that. One thing I've just to highlight, I've kept it because it was what you was talking about, and that was JB saying Aaron Wan-Bissaka, hammer of the year, in my opinion, he's put there. So when you look at something like that, there's a choice where we can either put Kudus up top, and it's a case of you bring Kufau in to go right back, and you push Wan-Bissaka up on the wing, or vice versa.
I would do it the other way round, actually, if I'm honest with you, because Wan-Bissaka's better in defence and can get back quicker when he does venture forward. And Kufau struggles in defence and struggles to get back. So if he was the right winger, effectively, we would get the deliveries from him. We would get the long throws from him. We would get the maturity of him. And that's important against a team like Chelsea.
True.
The maturity of the players. Wan-Bissaka will be able to deal with it. And I think you'll find that he will pick the more senior players that he can for this game.
Yeah. This has got a lot of importance to him, isn't it? I think this one.
But it's got more importance to us as fans. And he knows that. And he knows that we want to see him and the boys going out there and giving it everything they can, regardless of the result.
Agree on that.
Go out there and give it 110% for 90 minutes plus. Do that for me, boys. And forever and a day, we'll have the support of them lot out there. You know?
Yeah, I agree on that. I mean, Michael's
It's
saying
true.
here, just takes time for a team to gel, but not too bad at West Ham. Players have been together now 6 months. We are seeing some signs of it's kind of getting together. We know, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, unfortunately, we've got to keep referring to his name and that, and we don't mean any ill intent, but Lopetegui, he caused some damage.
He did. And, and in fairness, if Graham Potter can work his magic, do his wizardry with what he's got here and what he can bring in, then you would have to give Lopetegui, a small amount of credit for bringing in the players that he has. If Potter can work with them,
And I
And I think there are one or two that he will. I mean,
Yeah.
Wan-Bissaka's the obvious choice, but I think there are one or two others that he will be able to work with, like Todibo, Carlos Soler. I think they're players that will work well under Potter.
Yeah, I agree on that. Brendan's saying so many teams need a striker. It'd be like a bunch of grannies at a jumble sale. And he added on there, did the false number 9 lead to the current dearth in strikers? Possibly, because it seems to be now most of these teams are...
I think that means death, but yeah.
Yeah. Although basically kind of...
I think it possibly did. There are limited... We've spoken about this a couple of times as well, Tone. There are limited numbers of actual strikers out there. There are a lot of attackers, wingers, false nines, whatever you want to call them, but they're attackers and goal scorers. The likes of, your Kulichevsky, for example. Don't like to mention that team, but he is a good example of what I'm talking about. Kevin De Bruyne, I know he's a midfielder, but if you put him in front three, anywhere along that front three, he would play there quite comfortably. And he would be bloody devastating.
Yeah, agree on that.
Grealish. Look at Grealish. Right? He's actually become a really good player.
Yeah.
I hated him when he was at Villa because he was... I always thought he should have been in like the Olympic diving team himself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for what he does.
But he's actually turned out to be a really very good left-sided attacker. And, Jared Bowen, a right-sided attacker. Kudus, a right-sided attacker. Somerville, an attacker. None of these guys are number 9 strikers. We've actually had and lost more number 9s than I care to mention.
True.
And we've got one at the moment who we can't get on the pitch.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're very lucky to have one. Trouble is, when you pick from the bottom of the pile, it's usually all the shit that's fallen down from the top, isn't it?
It is true, mate.
It
is true.
And we kind of did pick up Carlos Bacca willing to jack in his post round for make a comeback.
Yeah, that's brilliant, that one.
Carlos Bacca, I loved him. I loved him because I loved to hate him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think the game's on. I think the Rangers game they're talking about there. It's on ITV4.
All the darts.
It could be that, yeah. Michael Blees is saying, at the moment, I would rather Sullivan come out with who we're buying, knowing until summer, as we won't be relegated and doubt make Euro qualifications. It's probably right. I mean, look, let's kind of crack on going to some of this transfer business. Okay. And the one that's sticking out for me, which shows you where this chairman has really kind of done one over us, and that's bloody John Duran.
Yeah.
Oh,
at least he's tried, Tone.
Yeah. Thank you for correcting me. I must admit, I do stand corrected on that one. But it just shows you yet again another low block how we should have got a player over the line, only for our chairman to come in with, well, here's 40 odd million, and then here's 57 million. The price tag is this, but we're still going with a low block, and hopefully, Aston Villa's going to go. Yeah, of course, we'll sign that. We'll take a loss on this player, not a problem at all. The fact that he's going to go to a Saudi league for just under 65 million.
Yeah.
Why not pay the extra 8-9 million on top? Done.
And not forgetting also, Tone, that this time last year we could have got him for 40.
Oh, mate, that's even worse. And we did exactly the same thing then. It's, I don't know, but it's...
Yeah. Do you remember we put in an offer for something like 26 and they said, oh, no, he's 40 million.
Yeah, straight away.
Or we put in the bid for 36 or something, and we wouldn't go the extra 4 or 5 million.
4 or 5 million, yeah, because we went in. I think, as always, we went in with a piss take first of all. Then we upped it to that figure you just said.
Yeah.
They said we wanted this, and Sullivan dilly-dallied and that, and of course...
Villa then went, hang on, come here, sign that.
Yeah, sign that, score against us, happy days. You know, and of course...
And then in the summer, we did the similar thing.
And then this window now, we've come in with this, 57 million, and well, apparently that was a second offer. The first one was even less, and we lose out on a player.
Probably about 3 million the first offer.
Yeah. Just going back on what we said about obviously best sign of the last season window has to be Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Let's bring this man in to join us. Good evening, James. How are we, mate?
All good, mate. What we all saying?
So we've just covered over about the game. We've been talking about obviously, Chelsea and who we go up top with. But the one thing we're just talking about at the moment is a bit of transfer business. And again, John Duran off to Saudi, 8 million could have got it over the line, but Sullivan, don't worry about it. Yeah,
disgusting, isn't it, mate?
You know
what I'm saying? Like, I'm not being funny. I think the sooner people start turning their attentions to Sullivan, the better, mate. That's what I'm going to say. I've been saying it for a long time. This is not I told you so. I think we all know what Sullivan's like, but I think it's got to be up now. It seriously has got to be up, and the levels have got to be up quite strong, if I'm being honest. I'm going to be truthful when I say this. I think a lot of YouTube channels need to start looking upstairs rather than keep looking and trying to make excuses for the man. There is no excuses in this window. We've been linked with about 15 strikers this window. And that
I'll just look
no
at the list,
joke,
mate. It's
like,
you look at it.
It's embarrassing, mate. And the thing is with me is that Spurs are in a right shit mess at the minute. They're actually linked with a striker. I think the bid's been accepted for the geezer called Tell, is it? Or Tyle?
Tell.
Yeah. And for me, West Ham can't get a striker at this club to replace Mikel Antonio. And questions need to be asked of why, really. Do you know what I'm saying? It's disgusting. I put a tweet out late last night, and I turned and said, I'll put a list of about 8-9 players that we've been linked with over the last 8 days. And let's have it right. It's the Thursday evening. Everyone's chilling for the night. We're no closer to getting a striker than we was yesterday. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's just embarrassing, mate.
It is true, mate. I mean, just say like, good evening, old man. Good evening, you beautiful bastards. And this one, Colin. Gents, there's another striker link, but he's 35-year-old, zero immobile hearing.
Immobile?
Yeah, well, we'll call him immobile. I think it'd probably be best because that's what West Ham do.
Yeah.
But
35 years old.
Yeah, I heard this this morning.
Yeah, I mean, in fairness, though, listen, I mean, out of all the players that we've been linked to, right, and you're saying it's around 15 strikers, James, and you're probably 15, right.
Yeah, there's about 9 strikers and a few wingers.
Right.
So.
You're probably right, but the fact is that we're being linked to them by people not associated with the club. Let's be fair. We're being linked with them by people like from, Sky Sports or Talk Sport or, the Guardian Sport or whatever the case may be. These ain't people that are really in the know. Let's be fair. Yeah. They get told what they get told, like we do.
Yeah, but the only thing I will say to that is that when you have Mikel Antonio go down at the beginning of December, when you have Jared Bowen go down, that's 2 of your main strikers out of the equation.
Mate. Listen, I couldn't agree with you more, James. We need a striker, minimum of a striker.
Yeah.
possibly two if we could get them. But you know, the fact is that I mean, like we might have been linked with 9 strikers, but I bet you any money you like, the club have only actually spoken to 3 of them.
Probably. But the problem is why does it take so long? And it always does take so long to get a deal over the line at this club. Like it's day, as I say, it's day 30 now. And we're no.
Yeah, and you know, like I did like what Potter said in his conference today when he said, "Look, it's easy to sign a player, but you got to find the right player, one that fits all of the criteria of what we're looking for." And he is right about that, James.
I disagree. I disagree on that because we've needed a striker for 5 years with Mikel Antonio. We've needed to replace Mikel Antonio for 5 years now. If Potter was given a striker of quality, like I use, for example, Emmanuel Manga, Strasbourg, Dutch under 21 striker, highly rated. I don't think he's turning around and saying no, he wants to keep Danny Ings. I just don't see that one at all. Like I feel that the club is stopping him from working, and I don't think that's right. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I can understand it with Pellegrini, with Lopetegui, because he had 150 million in the summer, and yeah, like you pissed that up the wall. But we don't do well in any transfer window. Let's have this right. I done a video earlier on, and I said the same thing. Like in any transfer window, when has it ever been a success? Like other than probably 5 years ago when we signed 2 of our best players currently right now in Suchek and Bowen. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Listen, I understand what Potter's saying. He's only saying what, like, he's only saying what people want to hear, like, to a point. But we need help, and we need depth. Like, can you honestly say to yourself right now, and I ask this to any West Ham fan out there right now, that in the summer we're going to get every single transfer right? Because we need a lot of work. We need a goalkeeper.
That's highly unlikely, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very highly unlikely. So I would assume, as a support of this club, like you are, like Tony's, like everyone who's watching this right now, the work starts now. Well, it doesn't start in the summer; it starts right now. Like you help the man out now. Listen,
and you know, and I agree. We have got to get bodies in the door, mate. But they've got to be the right bodies. I mean, like for example, if he was to bring a player like Mario Balotelli to the club, I wouldn't want him. Yeah, I'm not saying. Yeah. You know, I wouldn't want him to come to West Ham, Mario Balotelli, even in his prime, because the guy's got such a bad attitude. The changing room would be toxic within a fucking day. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, you got Matt saying that and an old man saying the same thing. Duran would have completely unsettled the change room. Same with Rashford.
Exactly. And that's why
I disagree on the
got
Rashford
no interest in either of those 2 players anymore.
Well, I don't know if you heard it. I heard it this morning when I was driving into work, and apparently Rashford is standing staunch that he was not going to drop his wage bill, and that's £325,000 a week. So that counts as that straight away.
He's going to go to Saudi, isn't he? Let's be fair.
He's going to go Saudi, or he's going to go to somewhere like PSG or something like that, right? But
or the States.
At the end of the day, I don't think it's wise us keep saying, "Oh, well, if we can't find the player, we'll wait till the summer." Because
we need something now.
I look at Aston Villa. I tell you what, I'll say this quickly. I look at Aston Villa. A few years ago, they're fighting relegation with us. I look at them now. They're miles ahead of us, completely miles ahead of us at the minute. Yeah. And we don't even piss in the
money though, mate.
Yeah, I know, but yet again, they've got owners who go out and spend. Like, look at them. Like, they get rid of Duran. Like, they've already got their replacement in place in Marlon.
That's right. Yeah.
And look at us. And no disrespect to Mickey, yeah, it ain't no disrespect to Mikel Antonio because he's been a great servant to the club. But we've needed to replace Mikel Antonio ever since I've done YouTube. I've done multiple shows over the years saying we need to get this replacement right for Mikel, and we are currently in 2025 and we've got no replacement. Like, is someone telling me 17th richest club and we can't find a replacement to play for our club? I'm not buying that one. I feel like this is just another scattergun approach from Sullivan. 100%. He does it all the time. He chucks a load of names out there. Fucking hell, we've been linked with Pepe. Right? I wonder where Salt's at tonight. Do you know what I mean? Because it's usually Salt and fucking Pepe, isn't it? You know what I mean? Like Evan Ferguson, is it on? Is it off? Right? I'm not being funny. Why? If you believe in the kid, why don't you just pay the money and buy him?
Yeah.
It's just like I just don't get what they're trying to do. I know it's FFP and all that, but I think on this one, the owner needs to be looked at. Yeah, because the thing is, I'm going to say this: there is nowhere to run now. Sullivan's got nowhere to run. Yeah,
Clear and visible. It is clear and visible.
he can't hide behind the manager because the manager's brand new. He can't hide behind Carl McCauley because he's brand new. The fans will start looking at him now, right? And he's got to deliver at the end of the day because it is what it is.
Howard. Well, tell me this one, and people in the chat as well. Has anyone seen this Ezekiel Banzuzi? Where is he? Is he still rolling around the M25? Is he got to the wrong airport?
12 million. That's a 12 million pound bid for a youngster. And this is the thing, right? We say we want to be like Brighton. We can't even get a 12 million pound bid over the deal over the line done. But then we can drop 57 million on Duran. It just makes no logical sense. Do you know what I'm saying? It just doesn't make no sense to me. Well, it does. I'll tell you what, it does make sense. It makes sense in what Sullivan does. Because if you go back in the history books with David Sullivan, he does the same thing every single time. Right? He will chuck names out there. It's a scattergun approach. Last week, we was linked with John Duran, Imanga, Andre Silva, Brian Brobby, all in a space of 4 days. Are you telling me you can't pinpoint one striker out of them four and say, right, that's me guy, I'm going to try and nail that one down? Unless you're just chucking names out there for the sake of chucking names out there. Do you know what I'm saying? And our club is the 17th richest club in world football currently right now, and we haven't even got a striker that represents us. I just don't think that's fair, mate, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, we should. It's the fact that we've just taken. It's the window, as you said, it's closing shortly. We'd like to see something, especially when you know someone gets injured, Bowen gets injured, and obviously Antonio knocked out. So, as a business, the first thing you do is try and safeguard yourself, and you get something in to help develop or stabilise things.
Yeah.
Obviously, I can see Howard saying that. I can't be happy. We're happy with the team. I've got no problems in that. I'd say, Howard. I think it's more the fact of we need some more recruits just to kind of help see us through this season. I think that's the main thing. For me,
it's setting Potter up to fail, mate. This is the problem that we've got, Howard. Right, I'll just answer that comment now. He's setting Potter up to fail because if he's working now with it, then in the summer there is no guarantees that he's going to get every single target that he actually wants, and then he's scrambling about. Then, do you know what I mean? Listen, he can't make it.
We've got to plummet down the league for him to pay attention. If you mean,
Yeah,
I think. Yeah, I mean, look, we all know Sullivan, GSB, the board, whatever, however you want to describe them, but they're notorious for this kind of behaviour.
Yeah,
and it just seems that all the time he is appointing people in positions that are supposed to be doing certain jobs, and yet he's still getting his grubby little fingers all over them jobs. Just goes to show that we're not ready to be taking on a director of football or a sporting director or whatever the case may be, right? We're not ready to do that. All the time we've got that man sat in his office at the London Stadium, So, I think our expectations just have to reflect what we know about the ownership. And our expectations have to be on that kind of level rather than, like some people were sort of saying, we're never going to get the Champions League if we don't sign Champions League worthy players. Well, we're never going to do that all the time we've got ownership that we've got, because
completely agree.
His aspirations aren't the Champions League.
That was too much of the fans.
I just look at Villa, mate. I just look at Aston Villa. In a space of 5 years, they was fighting relegation with us. They literally drew on the final day against us to stay in the league. Otherwise, they was going down. Since then, they've gone up and up and up. They got rid of Gerrard. They brought in Unai Emery. They started with a plan. They started signing good players. Leon Bailey, they signed a couple of others in there, Ollie Watkins, and they built a side. I look at West Ham right now. We can't even get a striker at this club. We can't seem to find. And the thing is, I could accept it if they was to be honest with the fan base. But the amount of bollocks that I've heard over the last 9 days in regards to people saying, "Oh yeah, like it's this link, it's that link, it's my mate John, it's my mate Steve." It's the biggest load of bollocks I've ever heard in my life, man. Honestly, and I'm going to be straight. Yeah, me and the boys will call that out on E20 because I feel like it has to be said. Yeah, that when you look at Sullivan now is a man that holds all the keys now, and Potter's there. And I've got a feeling, I don't know about anyone else, but I've got a feeling he's trying to set up Potter to fail. Yeah. He needs a fucking striker in the ranks right now. Yeah. Right. And they're not being funny. People keep saying, "Oh, this season's dead." It ain't dead, right? You need to build. You need to start somewhere in life to build on your success. So this season is important. If we go and lose every fucking game and we finish 14th, what does that really show for us? It doesn't show nothing. Like, you need to go into next season with confidence and a belief that you can be successful next season. So I look at this, and I'll be honest, when I look at this, like the recruitment and everything else, with the amount of links that are coming out, and I mean, I read off some of the names earlier on. Like, it's embarrassing. Like, are you telling me that we can't find someone on this planet to play for West Ham United at centre forward? Do you know what I mean?
I mean, I've just looked at something here. This just shows you, as strikers. So yeah, Ewan Ferguson. Who is there? Latte Leif, we know that one obviously has been banded around. Arthur Carbrow, Teo Awanyi, Jonathan David, Evan Gissard, Randall Colomuani, Wow. We already said no to that one. Rodrigo Munez, Callum Wilson. Who else is there? Yeah, Brian Broberry in there. Ricardo Pepe, who's just got injured. Yuri Alberto as well. That's just strikers.
You know it's going to be Callum Wilson, don't you?
Yeah, you can see it going a mile off, can't you?
Mate.
Look,
Really?
Michael Bleaser's saying we've just got Josh Landers from Hibs, £100,000 for a 17-year-old striker, and he's also said that he's 18 in the next week, so he's one for the youth team only. So, but at least that's something for the future, which is good in that respect.
It is, but we've also sold future strikers. And now's the time we can be using them. Like I said, the likes of Divin Mabama. All right, okay, he might not have been the best striker in the world, but neither is Antonio. Yeah. And yet, the man scored more goals than anyone else for this club in Premier League. Divin Mabama, he could have done a job for us right now. He's of that age now. He's 23, 24 now.
Yeah,
he could have been doing a job for us right now.
Robbie's paying for Ajax tonight, Brendan's saying. So you can imagine that one as well.
Yeah, imagine he gets hacked down and tomorrow they announce that we've signed him.
Yeah, typical stuff. Only rating means nothing to the player's age.
Back of his thigh. You know what I mean?
The thing is, with me, and I know you've got a few people in the chat there. I see Steve Bell's in the chat there, yeah? But it's the timing of it. It's the timing. I look at, it's the 30th of January. This should have been done at the start of the window. Listen, I can understand it at the beginning part of the window when we play Villa and Vorkru goes down.
Oh, that one.
But not now. We should not be sitting there shitting bricks going, are we going to get a striker at our football club now? I just don't believe it, Tony, if I'm being honest. And
I know. It's infuriating more than anything else.
It is. It's frustrating. It's like, you care, like Budgie cares, I care, we all care, but does Sullivan really care? That's the real question. Let's have it right. He didn't even want Potter, right? Yeah. And the more I think about it, and I've done a video earlier, and I wish I would have stuck it in the video that I done on E20 earlier on. When I go back to the beginning part of January that is here right now, yeah, I don't even think he wanted to sack Lopetegui when I think about it. If it wasn't for that photo being leaked, I don't think Lopetegui would have went anywhere. I think Sullivan would have put up with him for the rest of the season. I think his hand was forced. It's embarrassed him. And now, where he's had to pay up for Lopetegui, he's holding back. He's holding back. But then, if I'm right on that, what I can't get my head round is why are you sitting there going, I'm going to pay 57 million out for John Duran? It just doesn't make no sense unless you are literally sitting there taking the piss out of the fans and wasting the fans' time. It's as simple as that. That's the only thing I can think of. Other than that, if someone could tell me in the chat or tell Tone or tell Pudge or whoever what it is, I'd love to hear it because I can't think of anything else what it could be. I really can't.
Look at this one here. Look, old man saying Rashford and Garnacho were given time off for hammering, and they pissed off to New York for a basketball match instead of training to get these. That just shows you a waste of the pair of them. Pepperton and Shirley. Jesus, remember
Pepper
that?
and Shirley, yeah.
Great days, human league.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
She was saying Pepe Mo out with a knee injury. Bloody hell, is that any? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to come back to what Colin's comment there because it leads on nicely to Green Street Elites. Usual saying Ajax, Nice, Rangers, Real Sociedad, my for tonight. Nice. Good evening, Mr. Bill. Hope you will.
Evening, Steve.
And as always, they're singing to each other. Nice. And saying hello. Claire Grogan.
Oh, mate.
Claire,
Loved her.
Claire P. Grogan, Altered Images.
Yeah.
Happy birthday. Yeah.
Loved her. She was great. Yeah, Howard, me too, mate.
Gregory's Girl herself. Gregory, yeah,
That's
it's a
right.
film. Dear me.
Yeah.
Red Dwarf. Red Dwarf, Jesus. Good evening, Daz. Hope you're well.
Evening, Daz.
Yeah, I mean, Sullivan is incompetent at closing deals. We need a man who's a good deal closer of getting signing over the line. So what's his name? The new fella that's come in that's kind of
Carl
replaced Stein.
Macaulay.
That's the one, Macaulay. I keep thinking his bloody name.
Yeah, Carl
I
Macaulay.
should just think of Macaulay Culkin. That'll stick in my head then. So he's supposed to be the new one that's getting these deals over the line, but I'm not seeing anything.
Yeah. Well, the
Evening,
thing is,
Jordan.
we did have a great deal maker in Tim Stuyton. I mean, he seemed to be the one getting all the deals over the line, from what we're led to believe. You know, he was the one going and getting the signatures and bringing the players back on his little private jet and all that. You know, so, you know, we've had one of them, but, you know, we all know that the poison dwarf gets his grubby little fingers all over it all and fucks it all up.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so, you know, there's no point in us getting anyone in to do that, Colin. I'm sorry, I'm getting a bit frustrated about it because Sullivan is a stubborn little prick and won't do it. He won't leave it to the man he's employed to do that job. I would
True.
not be at all surprised if he goes and fucking washes his car after his chauffeur's done it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, just get it over. Howard said here, none of them players you listed were mentioned on teletext tone. If it's not on there, it's all bollocks. 100%. 100%.
301. No,
Telly,
yeah.
Yeah, 301. Look,
Leave
James
that.
even remembers.
Mate, it's all up there. It's all up there down there for dancing, mate. It's 100%. 301. You know what I mean? Get on it.
Brenda say try CFAX instead.
Yeah.
I mean, look, we all know at the end of the day, until we see him wearing the claret and blue with pen and paper and that, it is literally all bollocks. We all know that.
It's just the lies, though, Tone. That's the problem that I've got. Like, I don't know about anyone else, but for me, it's the lies. It's the constant narrative that, oh yeah, we're going after him, and then you just make us look like mugs. Like,
yeah,
this, I actually be glad when the window's shut. Yeah, and I've got a feeling if we don't get no one tomorrow night, can I really see us getting someone over the weekend? Like, especially on a busy sort of weekend, and we play Monday night. But knowing West Ham, and knowing Sullivan, he'll probably be working Monday night. Like, he won't be at Chelsea. He'll
It's
be
the fourth,
like,
isn't it? Is it the fourth that the window closes?
No, it shuts Monday, mate. Third.
Oh,
Third.
Monday.
Yeah. The day we got the game, and that is when the window's shut. So that'd be his excuse.
Right.
Too busy being there. Michael Blees has summed up though. Look, Sullivan didn't want Potter. He was outvoted by the board. Now he's lost face with Loppy and wants Potter to foul also, like you said, James. So yeah, it just says it all. And Steve Bell saying the thing is, nobody's going to sell this strike and have a couple of days to get a replacement. Look at Arsenal. Going for Ollie Watkins, they clearly said, "Nah, I don't think so." They're going to go with an improved offer, but it's clear they're not going to sell the player because Duran's off to bloody So what's the point?
Do you think he'll sign anyone, Sullivan?
Nah, I don't think
I
so.
think we're going to get an emergency loan signing in. That's it.
And the worst thing in that, though, Buzzy, we don't want to go down the same old route like we thought we were alluding to with Fulkrug. They'll just get someone in that basically like, you wouldn't surprise me, mate. Son's walking along the street. Can you kick the ball, son? Yeah, of course I can. Come on. and we're going to
Had a
announce this
professional
player.
contract before.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It'd be one of those.
Sign
jobs.
here. I'll give you 30 quid a week.
I think I'm going to be honest. I think it's disgusting that they have the transfer deadline day on a day of a game. Also, I don't think that's very helpful. That plays with people's minds. Like, if, say for instance, someone puts a bid in at the beginning of the day for a player, that could completely derail your starting lineup and everything. Do you know what I mean? So, I think that's a bit of a tricky one. Yeah, I mean, the only thing I can think
I
of.
agree with that, James.
The only,
Yeah, I do. I do.
The only
agree
thing
with
I
that,
will
mate.
say, the only thing that could happen. Don't quote me on this, no one. But this is just my thinking. Unless we go for someone who's a Chelsea player and we do the deal at Chelsea that night. That's the only thing I can think of where that could happen. They could have the medical there. They can have it done there. Just say for like a Drewsbury or a Carney Chukwuemeka or whatever his name is.
Chukwuemeka.
Chuck.
Chukwuemeka. It will. There'll be a song about him, and it'll be all Chuck this and
Chuck Norris.
Yeah, you know.
That's what I say. That's what I see coming, James. Yeah, we've signed Chuck with it. No. Chuck Norris. We've signed him instead.
Chuck Norris.
Actually, I wouldn't mind him. I think he's quite a decent player. I've said it before.
That's the only thing that I honestly believe could happen if no deals are done by tomorrow night.
We would have to have been having some conversation with them beforehand about it. Clearly, though, because you can't just walk up to the director at the beginning of the evening.
But it's like anything,
preparing for a game. And go, oh, by the way, see your Chukwuemeka fella. We want him.
Yeah, but it's like having a quick phone call. On Monday, we're going to be at yours. Can we do the medical?
Can we do the medical and that? Yeah.
Can we do the medical there?
And then announce him at half time.
Yeah, announce him at 10:59. Do you know what I mean?
You can just get coming to mind, can't you? Howard's on a promise, though. He said he's sorted out a date with either CFAX or Teletext. And he's got a Doris from Chipping-Ongo on Saturday night, so he's not too bad on that. What channel was that on, James? 40 what?
403. 301. Great days they were. Back in the
youth.
Liverpool sniffing around David. Yeah, see that.
Yeah. We should just leave him alone because basically he didn't want to come last time. So what's going to change?
Evening, Joanne. Hope you're well.
Evening, Joanne.
Yeah, the likes, please. Yeah, good luck with that. Not happening, Joanne. You know that your manager can't get anything over the line, and Watkins is definitely not going there. Good evening, Terence, as well. Good evening, gentlemen. It's good listening to the joke that is West Ham, the transfer West Ham United. Got a laugh, sadly. Got to, as it's a hammer. Yeah. Pepe out. So, Mr. Brady, it is then. We can only hope. Yeah. Home Alone scout now. Jesus. Howard's definitely saying, teletext dating, it's back from the future. Oh, he's an analyst. Yeah, he's not director of football. McCauley's an analyst.
Yeah.
Well, see, that's a good thing because Potter's worked with him before in the same capacity. So there's going to be that familiarity between them that the job will get done. He will identify people by analysing their data or whatever. And we're slowly moving towards a similar model to the Brighton model, which, to me, that's a positive thing. The only problem we have is the board.
Yeah.
The board won't let it flow. The board won't let it flourish and grow.
It also sort of comes into account that if McCauley finds a player that's worth, say, 25 million, do we have the owner to go in and pay 25 million, or do we have the owner that goes in and pays 10? That's the problem, isn't it? And we all know that.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. We've got ownership that are going to try and get, as much discount as they can on everything they can. That's just the way they are.
The guys in the chat are talking about the old getting the Doris. They're talking about what was on Channel 4, and obviously Channel 4's Babe Station, apparently. Steve Bill's saying, though, in the old days, we only knew we signed a player when he was in the lineup for a game. That's true, yeah. Who the hell is that? Just turned out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Budgie, whilst Sullivan is in charge of transfers, this great club of ours will never fulfil its true potential.
That's what I agree. You know,
Yeah,
we actually need someone who just really doesn't care about what other people think or say or whatever. I want that championship. I want this. I want that, and I will pay to get it because it will be good for me in my business. That's what we need. That's what we want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, okay, Newcastle have got ownership that can literally throw an entire nation's money at the club. They're not because they're being clever about it.
Agree on that.
But you know, you watch in the next sort of 2 or 3 years' time, St James's Park will be closed and it will be rebuilt, and it will be probably one of the best stadiums in the country, all within the same footprint that it's in now, because it's big enough. We know that. That's big enough for an 80,000 seater. You watch, it'll be the first one in the country.
Yeah, but then I look at Nottingham Forest, though, mate. And I look at what they've spent, and I look at their owner throwing money at it, and even breaking the rules to a point to get where he is. Like, and I look at Sullivan.
21 players in his first season in the Premier League.
Do you know what? If he was the 50th richest club in the world, I can understand it. If it's the 40th richest club, I can understand it. With the 17th richest club, and when you look at our squad, we've got better youth players than some of these first teamers, and that is like, that's no joke. Like, do you know what I'm saying? And I can't work out what they're trying to do. Like, if you've got name after name after name all the time, and it's the same different names all the time, and like, listen, like Tone's just reeled them off earlier on, and I reeled off a few. Like, if you used to really sit down and write down every single name, you'd come up with about 30 plus names. That's embarrassing. Like, are you telling me that they've not got one who they want, or they just chucking them out there and going, right, whoever we can get, we can get? It's like, it's just run poorly. It really is. And listen, I've said it for a long time about the ownership. Yeah. Managers come and go, players come and go, but this ownership, if he stays here, we're always going to be the same. We are always going to be the same, and that is the sad, frustrating reality of it. Like, and that's what irrates me more than anything, because I want this club to be successful. I want this club to go to the very fucking top, not because I want to be a glory hunter for West Ham United. I believe, like, we've suffered enough over the years, and I think we should be competing at a standard. I look at Aston Villa. Look at what they're doing currently right now. I look at us, and they are light years ahead of us, complete light years. Like in regards to talent, wages, recruitment. They set up the John Duran deal to let him go, and they've already got their replacement in there. Do you know what I mean? And who we got? Fucking Danny Ings, like someone who they got rid of. Do you know what I'm saying? It's just it's embarrassing, man.
I think the worst case scenario is we don't, you to be a fly on the wall in that boardroom to see if there's a conflict of interests and he overrules the whole board, or there's a majority that says, okay, we want to do this, but the other two, have their case, but they're overruled because basically Sullivan has the final say. That could be that.
I just think Sullivan wants to be in control of it all, mate. That's what I think it is. I think he wants to be in control of transfers. He wants to control the environment of everything, and basically, in a way, where he didn't want Potter, this could go bad to a point, because he could be setting Potter up to fail. And now, if Potter works miracles, then great. But I just don't think it's right. When you start seeing all the stuff coming out, the financial stuff, and you're thinking, you cheeky bastard, like, you've got all that dough, yeah, and you can't even help this man out with one player. Like, I don't know, mate. All I'm going to say is this, yeah, and I'll stop rambling, is that come Tuesday morning, West Ham better have a player in there. Because if we haven't, and we're the 17th richest club, and we're using Danny Ings and fucking whoever's available, it's just unacceptable for this club. It really is. And I think people need to start looking at the ownership. I've said it for a long time. I say it passionately with my hand on my heart. I've always said he is a major problem. We've got to get this man out the fucking club, because he runs West Ham like a car boot sale, in my opinion, and it's totally unacceptable.
Yeah, I agree on that. In that sense, I mean, look, a couple of results in that, we've got a chance. I mean, when you think we've spoke about it at the beginning of the season, where we thought West Ham could finish this season with the players we bought in the transfer window.
Yeah.
1 minute we're saying it looked dead in the water. We was going to be in that 14th, possibly lower position. But if he gets this right, then the chances are we could still finish in that top half, 12th, 10th, possibly.
If we finish 11th, I'll say this, yeah. If we finished 11th, but we was seeing a progression of the club, you build on that for next year. You think, I can't wait till August. That's what people will be saying, right? They'll be like, I don't want this season to end. If we go out with a whimper, lose a few, win one, draw one, it's like that. The pressure's on Potter then, and people will be start going, oh, like we've got to look at him. Like the man should not be under any pressure, absolute none. Yeah, he needs help. The only issue I've got is I wonder what he accepted before coming in, because surely he must have said, like, are you going to give me something in the January window? Now, maybe, yeah, Potter turn around and say, I don't need no one in the January window. Right, we'll get through it this season, and then we'll reassess it in the summer. That could be a possibility.
Yeah.
That really could be, yeah. But on the other side of it, I think there's a lot more problems there than we're seeing. Like, we've got a lot of players out of contract at the end of the season. We've got a lot of positions that we need to fill. It's a lot
something
of work.
else he's got to work out, throughout the rest of this season about who he's going to be targeting to replace these players that are out of contract, the ones that he knows that we're going to be getting offers for that Sullivan will not turn down. Like someone comes in for a £90 million deal for Kudus, he's gone. We ain't stupid. We know that. Someone comes in for, 80 million for Kudus, for Paqueta, he'd be gone. We know that. What I'm saying is that if he has done what you suggested, James, and it's a good shout that he said, like, I really don't need anybody in particular at the moment. I mean, obviously, he didn't have an injury to Bowen at the time when he came in. He didn't have, he did have Antonio out for the rest of the season, but all the same, that all happened shortly before he arrived. So, he probably, like he said in his press conferences, I want to concentrate on the players that are wearing the shirt now, and I believe that, because that's the kind of guy he is. He is the guy, I work for the moment we're in. I can't think too far in the future. I've got a game on Monday, and his first priority is the best performance he can get out of the players he's got available to him at every game. Is it?
Okay.
Yeah.
I can understand that. Don't get me wrong. I really can. But on the other side of it, I look at it and I think he needs to be given something back in order to help him, if that makes sense. Like,
I agree.
When he come in just after the Man City game. Yeah, so obviously Lopetegui got sacked. Man City was was the game after, and his first game was Villa in the FA Cup, and then Crew goes down. Yeah, that's where my problem is because now you've brought a new manager in, Crew goes down, and all we've got at our disposal is Danny Ings. And listen, I'm not a fucking football expert. I'm not claiming to be anything like that, but common sense would say, well, hold on a minute, Daniel fucking Ings ain't going to run the line for you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and like even if you go and bring in a loan, it's something. It's the constant bullshit and the constant lies that I can't stand. And when people say this and say, oh well, if we don't get no one, it's not a problem. It will be a problem in the summer if he doesn't get everything he wants, and he doesn't get every player he wants. Like if he wants to go for, let's just say, a striker of some note. Right, let's say Emmanuel Manga, who's out in Strasbourg, easy one to remember. If you don't get him, then what's your second and third and fourth? Do you know what I mean? Because this is the thing with West Ham, we don't usually get our first choices. It's very rare. We fuck about too much. We hesitate. We don't offer the club the money that they desire, and we take the piss out the club that we're trying to buy off, and then in the end, it all comes round full circle, and then we're chasing. And for me, like, he needs help.
Yeah. I'm going to go back to Richard's comment in a minute, but Michael's saying Sullivan has got 6 million in the bank, 3.6 from the LSS developments, and 2.4 from Benny Saudi club.
Yeah.
So that would have been enough to get that if we wanted to go down the route, John Duran over the line, or a player at least.
The issue is he fucked himself up there, Sullivan, because people know now he's got the money, and people say, "Oh, is it a phantom bid?" I believe it was a phantom bid, but it would have been hilarious if Villa would have accepted that. God, it would have been so funny. Like, I think his arsehole would have fallen on that, Sullivan, if I'm being truthfully honest. Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
no,
but
going to
it
pay
was-
that money.
57 million over like 19,000 years or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you know what I mean? 100 quid a week. There you go. That's
Oh,
his sort of,
man.
but you know, it would have been funny, but
Yeah.
to go and after the 57, right? It is funny, really, when you think about it. Like 57 million when was it? Last Tuesday, I think it was. It was last Tuesday. I remember it. Yeah, and then ever since then, all we've done is loans. It's like we've become skint all of a sudden. But, you know.
Yeah, you know why, didn't you? Because you said his arsehole was going. You thought I could nearly
You
lost
know.
57 there. But
Honestly,
Pepsi,
mate.
Pepsi sums it up for us. Like, look, we all think alike. Obviously, you know, being he's an Arsenal fella. Come Tuesday morning, it's time to go and take the bloody dog with you as well for the Arsenal perspective. And we're the same. But unfortunately, our little dwarf is going to stay with us. Yeah. So obviously, I don't know if Spurs are winning, but Man United have just gone 1-0.
I think we're going to need to move it on in a minute, Tone.
We are, mate. We are. I'm just going to quickly just looking at this. Some comments to catch up there. Newcastle still sniffing around Bayern for the summer, also possibly Liverpool. Good evening, to Michael. Big up, Son,
Evening,
Budgie, and
Michael.
James. Hope you guys are all well. Looking forward to Mondays. Be ready for this. He's saying. Just going to go back to this comment though, because old man was asking, any news on the Paqueta injury? I think it's all been pretty quiet. I mean, hopefully
nothing really been. He weren't at training today.
Yeah, so hopefully there's nothing we read too much into it.
Maybe
We knew
he was in
he
a
pulled up the
treatment room.
groin. Hopefully it's
Yeah.
superficial. But this one from Richo, poor old sod. We've made a bad decision over our gate at Bramley Moore Stadium. It's only a 52-seater. Looking at the size of it, you thought it was more than that.
Yeah.
But it's a football stadium, though, mate.
Yeah,
and it's purpose built. It's the
that's
newest
true.
one in the country, Richo. And we're all fucking jealous of you, mate. So stop bloody bragging.
Would you rather a 52-seater football stadium or a 65-seater athletic stadium with an half a mile view?
Yeah,
true.
That you don't own.
Yeah.
Howard's putting a question to us before we go into the Green Street Elites. Would the panel be happy if no one comes in this window? Then we integrate the youth into the first team without any marquee signings in the summer, focusing on the youth.
No, I think we're going to need marquee signings regardless, mate, because we're going to be losing players that are and have been integral to West Ham's play over the last few years. You know, the likes of Fabianski, the likes of Creswell. We're going to be losing those two in particular, and they're going to be very difficult to replace because left back is notoriously difficult for us to bloody recruit, and you know, Fabianski's like a fan favourite. Do you know what I mean? And so you've got to get a marquee signing in to replace him. You know?
Yeah.
For me, it's quite a lot there. I've got to divulge. The youth, some of these youth players need to go out on loan. Earthy is currently on loan. I think he needs to go on loan again. I'd integrate Potts, Skulls, and probably I'd have Casey as a fourth choice backup sort of defender. Other than that, I don't think Orford's ready. I'm going to be straight. I don't think he's ready. So I think he needs to go out on loan. I think we need a lot of work, a hell of a lot of work. And I think it's not about how much you spend. It's buying smart. I look at Forest, like some of the players that they've picked up for peanuts and they've turned them into little gems. That's what we've got to do. I would like us to start now, though, rather than later. And because the thing is, if we have a window like we had last season where we bring in 9-10 players, there's no guarantees that then 9-10 players are going to all work at the same time, and it could be a bit of a mess. But it'd be interesting to see how they get on from now to the end of the season and go from there, really.
Good evening to Damien. Just going to crack on with it, and there's a couple of things I wanted to make a point of because there's something we have not really covered before we go into the Green Street. So 40 million for Ferguson cannot be true. Do we never learn? Of course not. It's us, Damien. You know that. They're saying out there. Michael Chelsea saying, watch Everton have no atmosphere in their new stadium, just like every other team that moves to a new place in recent times. Yeah, we've not got a stadium, as we said. Cresswell has been replaced by Skulls. Agree on that. Facts. This is what I was fearful that all the best players we want would leave if not seeing ambition by the club. I think we just got to kind of see it through on this one, and I think it will be good as we go as the summer comes along. Yeah, send Casey out on loan. Damien saying Pots and Skulls next season is enough for next season. Any more news on Mr. Brobby yet? Yeah. He's got his old little flat car. He'll be coming over shortly. Definitely need a top striker, and they're saying good evening. But what I want to go back is to this. Brendan says, bloody hell, if Sullivan leaves, who would West Ham fans yap about? And I'm going to lead on to the next one of this because we've focused quite a lot on Sullivan. And it's not just, I know James is a great fan of Mr. Sullivan. But when you look at a lot of the other channels, a lot of them do go on Sullivan. But for me, the one person we're not really actually questioning, which Michael Bleed is saying, is Kretinsky will be gone once the club is sold, is owning it for the investment. Why are we not putting pressure on this guy to invest? Because let's face it, him and his missus are worth 10 times more than what Sullivan is. Why is this? We know he's an investment guy, but surely if he's seeing the potential in the club, up your money, man, because you're only in it for one thing.
He's an investor. That's all he is. Like, someone spoke to me about this and explained it to me, and I sort of understood what they were saying. Daniel Kodinsky is an investor of the club. He's invested in it for his shares to go up through the roof. That's all he is. That's all it is. And if Sullivan doesn't want to sell, then like we've got a problem there. Do you know what I mean? But I don't think enough people, especially on social media, speak about Sullivan enough. Yeah, I think people are starting to wake up to the idea and think, well, like first it was Moyes was the problem, then it's Lopetegui's the problem, now Steidon was the problem. We will get there, ladies and gentlemen. It is Sullivan who's the major problem at the minute.
Yeah, but
I think though that some of our financial woes could quite easily be solved by Kretinsky, though.
Without he's only an investor, though, isn't he?
Hey?
He's only an investor, though.
That's but without dipping into his own pocket. What about putting Royal Mail sponsorship on the front of the shirts?
Oh, I get that argument. Don't get me wrong, right? I can understand what you're saying on that. But as someone said to me, the final say is always with Sullivan. Sullivan holds the keys to the. It's like, for instance, if us three own something and Tony's the majority shareholder, Tony's going to have the final say on it. And listen, I might have billions in the bank. I might have a rich bird. You know what I mean? Page 3 model. It means fuck all if he has the final say. Do you know what I mean? So
move your camera around, please. James can't see too clearly.
Yeah, but I
get what you're saying. I do get what you're saying. I mean, look, Michael's and just kind of alluding to what you both are saying. Really, is Kretinsky is the 9th richest man in Europe. I know he's in it for the Wonga, but if let's face it, do we really need a person like that if his heart's not set for the club?
No, we don't want him as the sole owner. No, definitely not.
But then what it is, in one way, it's handy that he is in there to a point, because if it's Sullivan's way, we won't spend no money on fucking transfers. Like, let's have it right. We'll get free transfers, and we'll be cheap.
He's got equal shares now, hasn't he, to Sullivan?
I think he's got gold shares.
30 something right. Now he's got, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's got. What it is with Kodinsky is he don't get mentioned a lot because he doesn't have the final say. That's the only thing. If he had equal say, then it's equal blame. But then, like, what are we asking Kodinsky to do? Like, say to Sullivan, like, no, we're going to do it this way. I honestly believe and I do honestly believe this, if that photo doesn't come out with Steiden and Lopetegui, Steiden and Potter, sorry, Sullivan would have kept Lopetegui to the end of the season.
Without a doubt, mate. Without a doubt.
I would have money on that 100%, because it just doesn't feel like, it just doesn't feel right. Nevertheless, with Kadinsky, what are we asking him to try and do exactly? Because money is being pumped in.
Yeah, but what you want in, because look, he's got Sparta Prague. We know that.
Yeah.
And obviously he's investing heavily in redeveloping the ground. So that's not a problem. So, but we want to see it over here as well. That's what you want to see more than anything else. If he's that invested into the club to get more money out of it, then surely you'd raise the profile of the club, redevelop the place in itself. Or
if he was an East Londoner, that might be a valid argument, mate.
Yeah,
true. I do get that, but why have you invested in the first place?
He was born in Prague, mate.
I know he's born in Prague, but at the same point, it's the fact that he's invested in this club. So he saw something in the first place to invest in.
I'll tell you what it is, Tone. I'll tell you what it is. Imagine if you rented a mansion, and then that mansion's going to be yours soon enough. When you keep having to sort of work with the council to get it, eventually you do get it. It's exactly the same thing with West Ham at the minute. West Ham are renting that ground. Once West Ham own the ground, his stake becomes unreal because he's an owner of it. Like he's just a tenant at the minute. Like, I'm not being funny. They're all tenants. Like, and the argument is
the truth of it.
The argument is they're trying to get that stadium. This is the thing that they're waiting for. They're waiting to get their hands on that fucking stadium, which is the stadium is another root of the problem because half the fan base hate it. People are falling out of love with going to West Ham because they're so far away from the pitch, etc. And I see what the Everton fans saying there about 52,000.
And you have to wear wellies to go to the toilets.
That's what I'm saying. And if you fancy prime and popcorn at half time, I've heard all that before and all. So
yes, there's that as well.
What it is, it's the surrounding areas. It ain't just the LS as a whole, as the ground. It's the whole area. It's all the sort of basically like homes and stuff,
concessions and everything around.
And all the shopping area and all that land. That's the word I was looking for. Like all the land around the surrounding areas. Any investor's going to buy that, mate, and look at the profit. Does Daniel Kadinsky sit there and go, right, do I care about West Ham United? I don't think he sits there and generally loses sleep over it. Right, I think he's looking at his investment. The only thing where it could go wrong for his investment if we go backwards, because then the investment comes down, then it ain't worth as much as what we should be, and that's where the problem is.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, Howard summed it up here. I think would be a lovely shout. Crowdfund. Buy the gold shares, get a voice on the board. Come on, you Irons. That would be lovely.
I've got a quick question for you both, right? And I've got an opinion on it as well, but do you think if it had been the other way round, if Sullivan had passed away and Gold had been the surviving board member, do you think things would be any different to how they are now? Simple
I think he would have walked away, mate. I think he would have sold the club. I really do. For me, I don't know about time, but for me, I look at it and think Gold cared. Yeah, he had a soft spot for West Ham, and he was a fan basically. And as I say on E20 quite a lot, all good things do come to an end. Like even with this owner can't do it forever. And this, like, has anyone ever thought that this owner can't take us to anywhere further? For me, I think if it was the other way around, I think Gold would have considered selling, maybe even to Kadinsky, or maybe offering it to Kadinsky, and then Kadinsky sells it to some Middle Eastern sort of buyer or an American tycoon or something. The only thing I can say quickly is that this Amazon thing that keeps coming up, are West Ham preparing themselves for an American investor? Like, that's the only thing I can think of. It maybe West Ham are waiting to make themselves a brand so big that someone comes in and pays the money to buy Sullivan out. That's the only thing I can think of, because otherwise I can't think of anything else, to be honest.
Because who's that? Is it that Tripp fella that bought 10% into the club? Did he, the American guy?
Tripp Smith.
That's the one. Because I think he, one who had an investment company, basically sold it, is a non-executive director in there. But there was rumours a few years back that investment company was going to look at buying West Ham.
Yeah.
But again, nothing's come out of it really.
That's what I think it is. And I think the reason why no one would look to buy West Ham currently right now is because it ain't a viable asset to a point. You don't own the ground. The training ground's a shithole. The team needs a lot of work doing on it. Who's really going to want to buy it currently right now? Unless they're going to pay over the odds to get it and then do it themselves.
Of course. I mean, like Mark was saying, just like we don't give it a jack, that would be even worse. Yeah, because it's like a kid with a toy, isn't it?
Yeah, I agree.
But
Although he's done some pretty good stuff with the ladies team.
There is that. You can't knock that. Damien just saying about the London Stadium. I said it in the first 3 seconds in sitting in it. If the football's not exciting or the team's not winning, it's going to be painful in there. Generates no atmosphere whatsoever. And we all know how it all first started up and that. I mean, we've seen fights up in the gods and things like this. And like you said, James, when they said he was going to move to this place and you're going to be right up against the pitch like you were at Upton Park, and it were nowhere near that. That's for sure.
That was because of the plans to have the retractable seating, wasn't it?
No.
Yeah.
If I honestly believe if you was to go and asked 100,000 West Ham fans all around the world, if you was to get a new owner, what would be the first thing you want? I can probably say 90% of them will probably turn around and say, knock that stadium down and rebuild it. That would be the first thing. Because I don't think, listen, we're not glory hunters at West Ham. Right? We're not. That's one thing we're definitely not. Right? We're not there for the trophies. Right? You don't support West Ham for the trophies. You support West Ham for the love. That's what was always ingrained with me. And I think you need to love where you're playing. First off, do you know what I mean? You need to look forward to going to that place every other Saturday and enjoying it. And I don't think many fans, and listen, I've not been over there, like, and I know a lot of people who do go over there, and a lot of people who have walked away from there, and they fucking despise the place, mate. They really do. They hate getting through to Stratford. They hate these stop and go signs. The prices of everything are extortionate.
Yeah,
but I think
ridiculous.
That's what it is. Yeah.
I mean, the worst thing was, I mean, when you think, they were given the stadium, between West Ham and Newham Council, they bought it basically. But because obviously Sadiq Khan and because obviously Barry Hearn and because Daniel Levy, that's what kiboshed the whole thing.
Sullivan had the moment he arrived in 2010. He had his eyes on that stadium after the Olympics because you had that big old stadium in central London. West Ham, it's in the borough of Newham. It fits West Ham's narrative that they can get out of Upton Park, and he used. And this is why I'll go and be honest. This is why I despise Sullivan, because he used their passion for the club in every fan against them in order to get them to move to the London Stadium. Do you know what I'm saying? Because if you'd have been honest back then and said, right, this is what it's going to be, and what you see now, what it is back then, no fucker would have moved. They said, right, we'll start Upton Park and we'll regenerate this and have 40,000. Do you know what I'm saying? Because you got 40,000 hardcore there, or you got 65 tourists there, and that's what's happening.
We've covered that one there. I mean, look, just going to go into this comment. We'll lead on to, as you know, we do the Green Street Elites, and Colin says, to me, we need to do a bit of business again, like we did with Hartson and Kitson, which is quite appropriate. Absolutely. Because we are now going to talk about this particular man himself.
Which was your choice, I believe, James.
Oh, let's have a look.
Oh, no, it wasn't. Sorry. I was wrong. It weren't your choice, was it? Who was it that chose him?
It was old Jeff. It was Jeff.
Shout out to
Jeff.
Jeff.
That's right.
But
It was Jeff.
John Hartson, what a man. Do you know what I mean? What
What
sign?
a player, mate. I reckon he had kind of a choice of careers as well, mate, because he looks like he could have been a decent boxer.
Definitely a doorman in Brentwood
Yeah,
somewhere.
Dorman. Yeah, yeah, you know.
Yeah, I mean,
But,
listen, I say this, yeah. I remember when he arrived, because obviously I was young, I was about 12, 13 years old. But I remember when he arrived with Paul Kitson and a £7 million deal. And I'll be honest, they both of them were good players. I liked Hartson. I remember a game at Blackburn in the League Cup, I think it was. Because I'll tell you how I remember. I was in hospital at the time, basically it was on. And back in the day, it was teletext, right? There's none of these phones to all these kids nowadays. And the problem is, when in the hospital that I was in, there was no teletext on the TVs. So I'm watching it about 10 o'clock at night, about 12 years old in hospital. And I didn't know what the score was. So I'm sitting there going through the motions of it. And old Johnny Hartson, I think he equalised in the game. He either scored first or he equalised late on. And I think we went to penalties and we beat Blackburn in the League Cup or something like that. But yeah, what a bloke. Shame he left. It really was.
yeah. I mean, I first noticed him when he was playing for Arsenal, and yeah, he was fucking on fire when he was with them. You know, he wasn't always their first choice striker, but when he came on, he always caused problem, and I kind of noticed him then, because you know back then it was always like match of the day or the big match or whatever it was that was on TV at the time. And yeah, and then when we signed him, I thought brilliant, love that, got an idea what we've got coming, you know. And we got Kitson as well at the same time, and I didn't really know a lot about Kitson, I have to be honest. I'm glad we got them both, but Johnny Hartson, I thought he was a proper blood and guts striker. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, 100%. He's the sort of striker we need now.
Yeah, that's true.
Exactly that. And that was
100%.
what I was
hold the ball up.
kind of going to lead to. But, you know, there aren't many of them around anymore like that. And John Hartson was a guy that brought a smile to my face all the time. Because whenever he was on the ball, you half expected something special. Well, not special necessarily, but you half expected something to happen, you know, in the way of getting
John
a goal.
Hartson back then was like the modern day Andy Carroll for us.
Yeah.
Right, if you want to look at stylistically, yeah, he was a character. Do you know what? I can't remember where we signed Paul Kitson from. I think it was Newcastle. Something saying Newcastle we signed Kitson from, but listen, like that year that we signed them both and they kept us in the league, that was £7 million. You know, lucky Sullivan weren't around. It'd be about 500k, wouldn't it? Do you know what I'm saying? There you go.
Brendan said about Josh, you know, another guy who battled cancer seems to be. I think he changed it. What did he say back here? A theme after Ludo. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we signed him from Newcastle. Yeah, you're right.
What was the comment here? Just going back onto the comments we said about the ground. Don't be surprised if Bezos buys West Ham. He was interested in buying a club here before in the Premier League. If not him, maybe another American. It would have probably be Middle Eastern investment. That would be quite nice if it was. But as usual said, everyone who's owned West Ham, though, through the years has been dodgy as fuck in the main. True. That's very true.
Terence Brown. Thank you very much.
The Cairns. Yeah.
I don't remember them. I don't remember them because I wasn't old enough. But I remember obviously Terence Brown.
Even the old not Norwegian. What was the Icelandic?
The Icelandic. Yeah, I mean that one. You know that was unfortunate. I mean Iceland.
What was Peter's story then?
Peter's story, I suppose. He was the Tim Steidten of the era. That's what he was like the managing director, wasn't he? Of course,
100%.
There was a lot of
Yeah.
them going. They're definitely
He was like a
so-and-so.
managing director. It was,
Yeah, that's what he was.
everything went through
Yeah.
him before it went
I mean,
up to the top.
Budgie probably
Yeah.
remembers the comments when it come to the Kerns. It was always said they had short arms but long pockets. That was the
Yes.
problem with the Kerns.
Yeah. Bit like Sullivan.
Yeah. Terence saying Hartson technically maybe not the greatest, but his passion made him a fan favourite. Got to agree
Absolutely, Terence.
with that. Yeah, same
And,
thing.
you know, yeah, Damien agreed. I love strikers like that. And another thing about Hartson, even though he wasn't particularly technical, he was hard to get off the ball. Once he got on that ball and latched onto it, mate, it took a big player to get him off. You know?
Yeah, true. I remember that. Yeah, I think the director trying to talk. Remember, patient. So they're talking about what we should be getting in. Ian saying, remember Hartson as an up and coming young player at Luton. He was outstanding, so strong. I was delighted when he ended up getting there. And Michael Chelsea saying, like, you know, at Celtic he was a legend up there. But when you think for Arsenal and us, it was very brief.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I first noticed him when he was at Arsenal, you know, and he was playing, you know, a
Cheap
bit
edge.
part most of the time. But when he got on, he always excited.
Yeah, I mean, look,
You know,
Michael
the
played
crowd
something.
got them going.
Yeah, got behind him, didn't they? Like, as you said,
Yeah.
yeah, Hearts had led the line. It took no bollocks from the defenders he faced. Yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah.
well, when you,
And
he
like
was a unit, wasn't he?
Like you said, you know, that it was, well, yeah, it was like the you know, the Andy Carroll of the day, you know. Andy Carroll was very similar to that in a lot of respects, you know. And another striker that was like that is the guy I'd like us to talk about next week, if possible. That man there. If you can't see who it is, Marlon Harewood.
Marlon Harewood, wow.
Good old
Well,
Marlon.
Good old Marlon
Yeah,
Harewood.
loved him.
Well, I think obviously keep him in the bank, Budge, because I think what we'll
All
do
right.
today a little bit different. People in the chat, who would you like to see as Green Street Elites? And whatever is the main one we get out of there, we see that.
Yeah,
the
the majority vote wins.
Yeah, so people in the chat, who would you like to see next week as your Green Street Elite?
I've got a question for you. Marlon Harewood or Colton Cole?
You see, Colton Cole, right? Now, the thing is, like we explained when you chose Michael.
Sorry, Budge, I've just seen this comment from Pepsi. When are you doing the Paul Lynch tribute? He was a great West Ham great and well respected.
Pepsi, you're a piss taker. Yeah. Anyway, so when we selecting them, what we want to try and do is ones that don't get spoken about so often, you know. And I think Colton Cole, because of his role at the club and everything, I think he's quite a popular choice. So I think we should do Colton Cole a little bit later on. And who knows, you know, he might even watch this one day and go, yeah, it's all right, I'll come on and do it with you. You never know. He's like that. So,
what about Hugo? Was it Portfolio? I think his name was.
Yeah, Portfolio, yeah.
Yeah, the man who walked out at Arsenal when we lost 4-0. You know what I mean? Because he didn't get the 16 shirt. No, was it he wanted the 10 shirt?
Yeah,
he got the
threw
16.
his toys out the pram, didn't he?
16, didn't he?
We always get the nutters, don't we, at ACLA, don't we?
We do.
Where's the fucking lunatics who want like a certain number or a certain like?
If it's not if it's not a reject, we get the nutcases. You know,
Yeah, mate. It's like the retirement home for the nutty players and the fucking previously good, isn't it?
Paolo Di Canio sitting down going, Paolo no play no more.
Yeah. Do you know what? I was at that game. And that was a game I remember like so clear. It was just such a mental game, that 5-4. And we was like 4-2 down. And Stephen Bywater decides just to go mad and start like letting everything in. And and then you got the Canio on the floor and people start singing his name. Do you know what? I think people just done it for the crack, really. Started singing Paolo Di Canio. He gets up, gets the ball, goes round people, scores. And I was like,
yeah, brilliant.
Right, so we've got Marlon Harewood from Damien. Pepsi saying everyone vote Ince. Yeah, Harewood. Michael Chelsea saying there's a load of Mickey out there. Harewood over Cole. Michael Blees is saying. Daz is also
Yeah.
saying Harewood as well. Michael Chelsea is obviously saying Mavropanos. Tim Breaker.
Tim Breaker, good shout.
Good shout. Cole's underrated, though. One of the first centre forwards we had able to play the lone role.
Yeah.
Michael Blees is saying Samusi Abu.
Samusi Abu.
What a man.
Stuart
What a
Slater.
Slates. Yeah, I've had the
Slater.
pleasure of meeting Slates,
Yeah.
so yeah, that'd be a good one.
Stuart Jenkins.
Jeff Pike, you've done.
Get in. We've already done Jeff Pike. Stuart, if you want to look at some of the previous Green Street, the West Ham reviews, you'll see it on there. Colin's saying, oh, here it comes up. It was Brown and Paul Aldridge who done the dodgy deal for Mascherano and Tevez. Nothing dodgy about that at all. In all seriousness, I'll vote Alicia Lehman.
Me too. Me too.
Done. Next
I'll
week.
vote for her for anything.
Pepsi.
Whatever you like,
stay
I'll
tuned.
vote for her.
Oh, Colin Chilwell, look at that. What about the Joey
Joey
Beauchamp
Beauchamp.
deal?
Yeah.
Stan Lazaridis.
I'll tell you what. What about
Good shout.
Scotty Cannon?
Thanks, Stuart.
Scott Cannon.
I don't
Scott
really
Cannon,
remember
yeah.
him very well.
Benny McCarthy. Look, Benny McCarthy.
Oh mate, I still get over that. Do you know what I mean, when you think about the crap that we had in that sort of era, what was the other player? We had Meadow in there, didn't we? Robbie Keane played for us.
Jesus Christ,
Some
Meadow. I
shit we
forgot
had.
all about that one. Meadow. You try and
What
forget about that one.
Who was the big, tall Eastern European striker we got from Man City?
Oh yeah, dummy that. Oh, Diego Tristan, we signed him. That's another one.
Yeah, no. You nearly reminded me of his name as well.
You got Todorov.
No,
Todorov was in there. God, mate, you testing me at my trivia now at West Ham. So, you know what I mean? Striker.
Yeah, put it in the chat, people. Who was the striker we got from Man City? It was like he was one of the first strikers to leave Man City after they started doing well and getting their new stadium, I think.
Veste, Ricardo Veste.
Yeah, mate. But
that's a good shout, Brendan.
player.
Lucas Neal. Lucas
Yeah.
Neal.
Take him. I'd definitely have him at my captain's table.
Yeah, he was good. 3-0 at the Spuds.
If I could have a table of 6 captains, he'd definitely be on it.
So it seems it's an easy one for your budge because it seems, for what we've had sent through, the main one, Harewood.
Indeed it is. Marlon Harewood.
So Marlon Harewood for next week's Green Street Elites.
Or as I used to love calling him, Marlon Hairpiece.
Hairpiece.
Still haven't got over that goal he scored in the FA Cup semi-final. Do you know what I mean? I had fucking Dean Ashton that day and he scored it. I had the choice between the two.
Is that the goal where he came on as a sub and scored with about his third touch or something?
No. What it was, he played the whole game. It was him and Ashton up front, and basically me and my mate had Harewood and I had Ashton, and I thought, fucking Harewood. Because back in the day, Harewood was like up and down. He'd either score a few or he'd miss everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I thought, I'll go with Ashton because I liked Ashton more. And he scored that goal. You know what I mean? Paolo one shot. What a man. What a man.
Yeah, brilliant. Loved it. And it was great because I used to get really confused. We had Paolo one shot and Paolo Di Canio at the same time. And I used to get really confused when people were talking about Paolo, and I would go, Paolo who? Which one? And they go, what do you mean, which one? Di Canio, of course. They go, I thought you meant one shot. They're like, who? Mate, he turned out to be a decent player for us. I liked him.
True. Good shout for Michael. Yeah, Harewood was the Antonio of his time.
He was indeed. I think Antonio's a little bit more clinical on his finishing.
Do you remember that we actually? I was just going through it because it was bugging me. Yeah, I can't find the striker. The only one I could think of was Tevez, who went to City. But Craig Bellamy is one of them. Who come from City to sort of West Ham, and then you've got Wayne Bridge. Do you remember Wayne Bridge playing for us?
Wayne Bridge.
Yeah.
We had a little bit from him. Obviously, Matthew Upson. Who's of course? You said who's.
Tal Ben Hayeen, you got Sammy Nasri, you got David James.
Yeah, Nasri. Yeah. Well, Jim.
It was a strike. Oh, God. Edin Dzeko.
Edin Dzeko.
Was it him? Was it him that we had?
I'm trying to think now.
God, I can't remember now.
Oh, you've done me there, Dzeko.
No, was it?
No, you ain't on about Yelovich, are you?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah,
Everton.
Yeah, Nikita Yelovich. That was the
Croatian,
fella.
Everton. We tried to sign him for ages. When we signed him, he was crap.
Was it Everton, not
It was
City?
Everton,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
No
where
wonder
I
I was thinking. Who's it from City? I can't remember who it is.
Ian saying that semi-final goal is probably one of the West Ham United goals that I lost it the most when celebrating. Yeah, true.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
know.
it
It's
was,
been great days. Great days.
Damien saying he would have had a 20-goal season, he thinks, as well.
I think he did, yeah. On FIFA.
Stephen Langham saying Yossi Benayoun, another one. And look, people are mind reading me, yeah, because this is one I would like to do, not obviously in a couple of weeks' time, Budgie, but this player, Mark Vivian Foe.
R.I.P. Mark.
Listen, when we do that one, we'll have a proper tribute to him.
Yeah.
Proper.
Yeah.
He deserves that much.
Yeah, I mean, James, do you remember anything of Vivian Foe?
Oh yeah, I remember that '99 season. We had like a great little team. Like he played, like it was like a bit like an enforcer, wasn't he? Do you know what I mean? Type player. It wasn't like flamboyant or anything. Just got around the pitch, got stuck in.
Yeah.
I don't remember how he passed.
It was live on TV, mate, on a football game.
Was it actually a football game? Was it?
On the pitch.
And then the worst part about it is the camera actually zoomed in on his face with his deaf face.
2003, it was, yeah.
Yeah. The camera actually zoomed in on his face. That was even worse.
Yeah.
And he was only.
That's why I believe that he deserves a proper tribute.
Yeah.
And we'll do that in 2 weeks. So
taken way too early, James. Taken way too early.
He was 28.
Yeah.
28,
in fact, for that one, Tone, why don't we stretch out a little bit and ask a few other YouTubers to send in little tribute videos for him, and we can play them on the show.
Yeah, so we can try and get hold of some of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Airwood
like
nearly scored.
Yeah,
that's all it takes, isn't it? Ian saying Airwood nearly scored in extra time in the final 2. He missed that as he was so knackered he was nearly lame. True. There you go. Howard saying that. Mate. Trevor Morley from City. And Mr.
That's not who I was thinking.
How much do you reckon we signed Mark Vivian Foe for? See if you can have a guess. I've just got it up here now. Give us a figure.
Probably somewhere in the region of about 50 grand.
No, we signed him for 4.2 million.
All right, okay.
He played for 38 games and he scored 1 goal, and that was against Sheffield Wednesday. He also scored a goal in the West Ham's 3-1 win over NK Uzbek in the UEFA Cup. So he scored 2 goals basically for West Ham, 1 in the league, 1 in the cup.
Yeah.
And he moved to Lyon. Our business with Lyon continues for many years. Yeah, 6 million pounds, and he went there 6 million. So
we haven't burnt no bridges with him, have we? That's so we can still do business.
Not yet.
Yeah.
It's early yet, though.
What about this player? Jesus wept.
I'll tell you what, I'll raise you Freddie Lundberg and give you Kieran Dyer. You know what I mean? Fucking shit that was, mate, honestly. Even Bowyer to a point. I don't think
I'll tell you what, I'll raise you Kieran Dyer and give you Patrice Evra.
I'll raise you Patrice Evra. I'll give you Arbeloa.
I'll smash the pair of you to pieces and that. Roberto, there you go, done. That's it.
I'll raise you Roberto and give you Simeone Zaza on the free.
Yeah, you shitbag. They're the ones that got up there.
Do you know what I mean? But then saying that Roberto wins hands down, doesn't he? Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Steve Lomas, what a player he was for us as well, and you got to love old Jimmy Neighbour. Yeah, great shout, Michael. Jimmy Neighbour.
Got to love you.
Yeah, look at that. Look, Sammy Nasri, Paolo One-Shot, David White. Big up, Mr. Joshy J. How you doing? Yeah, Damien thought 500,000. I was thought 475, but I didn't realise it was 4.2 million. Just rejected from my stream.
You
Thank
know
Mr.
why I thought it was Edin Dzeko, didn't you? Because I always used to go to Man City and nick him for West Ham on FIFA.
Mm. Yeah,
Yeah, for FIFA.
I got confused.
I think he fucking Middle Eastern striker or Eastern European striker. I was like, don't know who that one is.
Thanks, Sharky. Furry died during a Confederations Cup game playing for Cameroon. He was a good player, definitely was. Just the fact it was a lack of respect. You know, the camera pan on his face. I mean, that was not nice.
Yeah, no, that was sad to see. But you know, what else do you expect? You know, from the media.
True.
Good evening, Happy. Nice to see you. Only 2 hours late, sweetheart. Don't worry.
Yeah, I haven't seen you for a while. He's saying, yeah, legend Furry. I mean, what did we think? Yeah, look, Freddie Lundberg, legend for Arsenal. Shite for good evening, Mr. E. Ross. Danny Ings tribute. Wow. Michael, please, is saying I'll raise you everything for a Marco Boogers.
Alan McKnight.
Nightmare.
Oh, we could do this all night, Michael. You know what I mean? Come at me. I mean, we've seen some shit at our club, trust me.
I raised them all for Calvin Phillips.
Calvin Phillips, bloody hell.
Yeah.
Ian R saying, little furry story. When he turned up for training for the first time, some of the players asked where he played. Molker said, wherever he wants. Look at the fucking size of him. Always makes me laugh. It's true. It's true. Yeah. Roberto. And they're saying on there. Just come to the last comments. Shocky there. Talk said saying like we checked McNightmare. Yeah, we said that. Big up E-Rost and that. And obviously, Sharky's also saying evening to everyone. We miss you, Happy. Been getting some winter sun or skiing. That'd be interesting to see in there. So, James, you can just shake your channel out as we're coming to the end of that. And what you got coming up, mate?
Come over to E20 Zone TV for light entertainment. Yeah, if you want to subscribe to my shit, come over there. You see it there in the chat. E20 Zone TV. Subscribe, like, and all that game. It goes a long way. If you hate Sullivan, I'm your guy. Power to the people. So yeah.
Thank you, mate. And Budgie, put your channel out there, mate. And
thank you very much. Well, Green Street Elites, as we've named that little section about players we loved from the Upton Park era. Green Street Elites, yeah, give us a visit. I'm putting on some content very soon. I've got it all planned now, or some of it anyway, Tone. Yeah, and also obviously you can catch me every Wednesday night on West Ham Network doing the Old School Hammers with my old mate Kieran, and the occasional Tuesday with our friend Rani Bubble or Jeff on the Bowling Lounge, and of course every Thursday night here with our pal Tom doing the West Ham review. Next week, get your stories ready for Marlon Howard.
Yes, that should be an interesting one. So tomorrow I'm not going to do anything. I think not what I've got planned. Sunday, as you know, is a Sunday night takeaway. Monday, I will be doing a watch along for the West Ham Chelsea game, or the Chelsea West Ham game, shall I say? And of course, as you know, me and the other two Herberts, Anthony and Fuzzy, we'll be back for the good, the bad, and the ugly. And of course, as Budgie said, we'll be back for the West Ham review
Thursday night.
Thursday
And if you're lucky, I might even give you a halftime report live from the pub.
That'd be interesting. That should be very good.
What are you saying on Monday? Quickly.
Result wise, I think if you look at it, this is probably a good opportunity to play him. And I think, just like we did with Villa, I think we've got a good chance of getting something out of this game. I'm actually predicting a 2-1 to West Ham.
Nice.
I'm probably going to say a draw myself.
I'm going to go with a Desmond or a 2-1 loss. But I don't want it to be the 2-1 loss.
And what's your predictions on signings? 1, 2, 3, 4, or none?
Very optimistic. A 4.
I hate these multiple choice questions. The last one. What was the last one again?
0.
That's the one. I'm
Um,
100% confident on that answer.
Pepsi summed it up, though. Even though I said about all the other shows and that, he's probably right here. And if you two want to join us back on Tuesday with a rant for no strikers, yeah, we'll probably be doing that. I think. Dear me.
Yeah.
Colin's coming with some other names: David Burrows, Mike Marsh, Don Hutchinson. God,
I loved Hutch.
Yeah,
I loved Hutch.
Mark Blees saying 1-1 Monday, record Monday nights 110, drawn 1, lost 0. Don't use that word. Hopefully, Daz. It means we ain't going to get nothing. Could be confident on it. We're going to do it. Not going to sound negative, but we will lose. But I'll be happy with another progressive performance, and that's a good share. As long as we see progress, you don't mind if we try hard enough. If we get beat, fine. Yeah. But
I mean, it's like I said right at the beginning, though, wasn't it, Tone? I said, if we're seeing progression, we're seeing good football, we're seeing this and that. The result is absolutely, irrelevant to some degree. It's not the result we're looking for right now, especially not against a club like Chelsea. We're looking for a good performance, something that we can build on for the next run of games. Chelsea is touch and go, always has been. One of our biggest rivals historically, from like day one, from when the leagues were, Chelsea and West Ham have always been tough games. Always. David Webb and Osgood and Bobby Moore and Hurst and all them. Them games were tough games. My dog's barking. He needs to go out.
No worries, mate. Nearly finished now. Look, David James, Julian Dix, Razor Ruddock, Andy Carroll, and Colin. Oh,
Colin.
Great shape from Stephen there. Look, Clyde Best.
That is a great shout. We'll do him in a little while because I was definitely at his debut.
Hutchinson, well-rounded midfielder. Stuart Downing.
Yeah, good shout.
2-1 to the Irons. He was saying, usual coming in with a good one as well. Remember him? David Speedy.
Yeah.
Always look like when you want to fight someone. I'm sure the Wheelstone Raider modelled himself on David Speedy. 3-1 Carl Palmer. Get into Lee, the Arsenal Alliance. Go and give the man a little like, share and subscribe. He's doing very well for himself. Coming there, Mickey. Yeah, Mickey saying about that. And Ian saying, totally agree, Budgie. I don't think we're in a relegation danger. This half of the season is all about seeing what GP can do. Yeah, we agree on that.
Yeah, he's got to mould the players that he's got into his, format, and that's not an easy task. So,
no.
Good luck to him. I hope he does well.
Exactly. And as he says there, good night to all you lovely, wonderful gentlemen. Take care, guys. Great show. See you next time. And thank you, Colin, as well.
Cheers,
and the last comment is in from Fresh, Anton Atalakowski. If I spelt that, I probably mullered the name of that one anyway.
Yeah, probably, but I would have done as well.
So, owner needs the back part, 100%. But, guys, thanks for hanging around with us. Oh, look at that one. Michael, please.
Guys.
Pop Robson. That's another one.
Beautiful name.
Cheers, gentlemen. Much love. Thanks for hanging around with us. We're done for the night. And as James said, he's saluting you. And we're saying, come in your irons and let's get beyond the team. Take care, everyone. And good night.